Hey guys, it's me, Arc Studios, and here's a new video. So now first let's share the screen. And yeah, so this is the video. This video is gonna be in an alternative timeline. And in this timeline, there's gonna be such a war in which all nations, along with the empires they had at one point of time, are gonna go to war with each other. Like for example, we have Canada, then we have Eastern and Western USA, which were not all parts of Britain, but they had been under British influence over some time. Then India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Tibet, and other parts of China. Then Bangladesh and Myanmar. Then Australia, New Zealand, and basically many African nations. And then some may argue that this part, basically East Africa, is all also in the British Empire, but Germany had at one point of time also. I didn't want to leave Germany out because Germany had a good empire when it had an empire. So let's just start. The British Empire is all in red. In blue we have the French Empire, French colonial empire basically. In black we have the German Empire. In yellow we have the Spanish. In green we have the Portuguese Empire. In brown, we don't. It's not necessarily Italy's empire, but it basically whatever Italy had when it had an empire. At one point in time. Basically during World War at that time. Then the lowland countries also have the few empires here and there. Like whatever's in pink was one part of Belgium, like the Congo, and whatever is in purple is under the Dutch influence, like here and here. And these borders in in North America is not are not really perfect because as you can see, France definitely did not grow only this much. France could grow a little bit more. Louisiana was not this much. But yeah. So now here we'll just start off with the war. I forgot to say the red is the Russian Empire. This maroon color is the Russian Empire. Anyways, so all these nations are war with each other, and all these historical friendships that ever happened are not going to happen, are not don't exist anymore. So the first move is with the British, in which they decide to push in and take out all the other settlements of foreign nations in India, basically in British India. But almost instantly they get revenge because of Portugal, because Portugal does not like what they just did. So Portugal decides to through Brazil start a small invasion, and Italy manages to capture this part of the land. And at this time, that historical Portuguese British friendship does not really exist because they're all at war with each other. And this is present day actually. This is present day. It's not old days. It's present day. And yeah, so Brazil, basically Portugal, just increased its size. And as you can see, some of these nations don't have a perfect border. And I'll just let you guys know a little secret. I forgot to add them into the empire while I was customizing. So basically, this part, the Western Sahara, it was at one point I colored it blue, basically French. Then same thing for this part of Namibia. I had made it red originally, but then I had to change to black because I remember Germany had this part of the empire. So the border changed a little bit by now. And the next thing will be between next big fight will be between France and Britain again, as we will up here, because there's a lot of British influence in this area. Britain will easily be able to capture and control all of this French region. And seeing that they're about to lose, France will do something. Now, because Britain has a majority of its focus on that region in the Middle East, France decided it will be better if they decide to push in to the sea parts in British occupied lands, so that they can have a little bit of access. So if they want to get to the sea, and if they want to um, send ships full of food and army and stuff to them, so they can. Meanwhile, they also invade a bit of Spain, because all these nations are at war with each other. There's no nation that's not at war with the other. And because of the difference because there's a large distance between both these parts of Spain. Florida falls to France. Now France gained a lot more land than what it had before, but they also lost all the Middle East because Britain just decided it will better take it. Also, Israel and Palestine decided to rejoin Britain. But this is definitely not going to be realistic, because I don't think Israel and Palestine would give up their sovereignty. Anyway, now going up a little north, um, Japan will go to war with Russia, because the war just began in this northern part of North Korea. And plus, I don't think North Korea would also want to join Japan, and so with South Korea. Basically, Japanese troops are basically annihilating Russia because of Russia's instability, and they can't manage to control everything. Meanwhile, Russia is also making small pushes, but they're not making too large. And all the white regions are basically nations who have not joined a any parts, or they are independent states. But Russia gets pushed back. But now Russia has a little bit of an advantage when Mongolia decided to join them. And why does Mongolia join them? Because Mongolia and Russia have had a historical friendship. And now peace terms are, sorry, I forgot, not peace terms, but a temporary ceasefire is announced between Japan and Russia, because Japan ends up taking a lot of land. But looking at how weak Russia is, Germany decides to start a little invasion, and they move eastwards. They easily occupy some Russian land, taking out all the Baltics and a little extra land. And they also managed to push in here and spread up this land. And now Russia decides again to sue for peace. And after suing for peace, this is what is left of Russia. Now they see that they cannot control all the wars that they're able to fight here, and then they want another, and then they should have an ally. So now alliances will start being formed. The first alliance between Russia and France. Why? Because both nations have fought with Britain, and they don't like Britain very much. And after seeing that this alliance has been formed, Russia decides to go in for Iran. But Britain sees what's going on, and they don't want Russia expanding anymore. So they decide, because they've got a lot more dominance over this region, they decide to start pushing south, and their troops connect over here. And they officially they've officially um, managed to split up Iran. And now when Russian troops get to this area, they realize that Britain has already taken out of the entire strip of land. And when the leader gets to know, they just decide to take out this much land and finish off with it. Meanwhile, Britain gets all this. And because Britain is mostly winning, they decide to start pushing more into China. And they cut off France from the rest of China. And now another alliance will be formed. An alliance between Britain, Germany, and Japan. I'll just make one note over here. Please just give me a second. Just so I don't forget. Okay, I lost that. Meanwhile, okay, I'll just remember. I'll just note it down somewhere so that I don't forget. But now, because these three nations are all allies, they decide that it'd be better to split up China themselves. Because Britain has already got a lot of land, they allow Germany to push in a lot and take it more. And then Germany decides to take all this land, and Japan gets the rest. And after seeing all this, France decides to make one last move and go for a little invasion of Thailand. I'm really sorry if a country gets destroyed or gets taken out in this war, but this is just clearly fictional. Hmm. I don't want any such war to happen. And while finishing off this war, they also decide to go and take out liberal Britain, which Britain managed to take back, but loses a lot of men while doing. And they also decide to take out this part of France. And they also just end up going for full swing war against France in this region. And because Russia is not in this area, they can't really help them. And that's why Britain manages to push in. And now France is really worried because they might end up losing all this land. And then they get and then Spain applies to join the alliance. And Spain is accepted. And now because of that, they have another ally to help out. And now Spain starts pushing in. Now Spain is not really a powerful nation in this war, but they are there. They do exist. So that's why they get a lot. They're becoming a powerful member. And Britain decides to have a ceasefire for both nations. And the borders start looking very different now. But now one major change happens in Europe. Britain decides to break the ceasefire, and Germany and Britain both decide to invade France, mainland France. And as history has played in the past, Alsace-Lorraine is the first part that gets taken by Germany. And the UK also makes a little landing in Calais and other parts of northern France. Because Spain is right here and Russia is right here, they're in a they made a big mistake. So now Spain starts pushing up into southern France. Not exactly pushing up, they just start sending in more troops, and so does and Russia also starts attacking Germany on this side. And they only doing this because they did not go for a ceasefire, and Russia practically gets a lot of land back. But Germany also starts showing some resistance. There's a German resistance movement that happens in this specific region, and it starts pushing onwards until it connects to main Germany. And then Germany manages to take a lot more land than what it ever had before. And after this, after seeing what happened just now, Russia decides to sue for peace, finally. Now, nations like Italy see what's going on in this war phase. So they decide that it is better if they join an alliance, or else so that they won't have to fight on their own. The ceasefire terms are this: that Russia loses everything over here. 1 second, the borders are not going well. Yes. So Russia has been severely humiliated by now. And France, though, somehow, and because France got help from Spain, it manages to take back this part of land and manages to push in to Germany. Now, Germany lost a lot of land. Germany lost some land right after this war, but they also gained a lot. And also, ceasefire terms are also applied between these three nations. Now France's alliance gets one more member, Italy. I'm really trying to forget stuff. So please just bear with me for a second. I'll just make a note. And one more nation decided to join into Britain, Japan, Germany, and now Belgium decided to join into Britain's alliance. And this is a really important thing. We have this one more nation in both teams. However, Belgium is pretty small, and its empire is pretty small also. They were still accepted. But after seeing this new empire, that's just yeah. So now, and now Belgium was also added in because it gives strategic help for Germany to get its old lands back. So now, because Italy just decided to join in, Britain and France decide to start sorry, not Britain, France. France and Italy decide to start one endeavor to try and tackle and try to take out some land from the UK. So they declare war, and so does the UK change its relation, and Belgium also joins in the war. So first it starts with Belgium troops from Belgium pushing into northern France and securing a grip over this area. And then they also decide to take land from former Germany, securing this border area. Now, this land won't be immediately transferred to Germany. It'll take some time for that. But meanwhile, while France was losing land up here in Europe, they were gaining a lot more down south in Africa. And so was Italy. Because Italy manages to push up. Now Britain's left with only this much land. But one thing happens that changes the entire fate of this war. Paris is captured. By whom is Paris captured? Paris is captured by the British. And the entire country of France falls to them. And now ceasefire is announced by France because France does not lose any more land because the major part of their land is lost. And now terms of the ceasefire are announced again. France loses everything except Paris. The rest of the land is divided up between Belgium, the UK, and Russia. Sorry, not Russia. Belgium, the UK, and Germany. So the treaty starts off like this, in which Germany receives all of its old land, a majority of its old lands, I mean. And parts of eastern France. In Belgium, because of its huge contribution to the war, it also receives parts of northern France. Then Germany receives a little more land around, no, that's not the color of Germany. Over here. French people who want to leave are given a window of 10-15 days to leave. And after that window is closed, they can't leave again, ever again. Britain decides to take the rest of that land. And this much land is left as a special zone only for the French people. So if they want to come and if they want to stay in France, they can stay here. It's given back to France, but it's monitored by the British, Belgium, and German armies. Now Spain will start facing big issues because it's right next to the British border. And so will Italy because it's so close to the German border. But anyways, this is the end of the video. This is part 1. I'm planning on making a mega series for this because I can't finish the whole episode in just one day. That will be crazy and that will not really seem good. But that's it for this video. I will be showing more in the next videos, coming on videos. So bye guys. I'll see you next time.